Hey everybody, welcome to Weabop, where I just left my drink into the other room, and so now I'm thirsty. I have the thirst.
Oh,
I'm here with Adam, who isn't thirsty because he probably brought a drink, and we have
I
a
mean,
guest. Shut up, Adam.
okay.
We have a
Yes, that's
guest
my name.
tonight.
Shut up, Adam.
That's gonna be the second shirt. Oh, because I'm late. I should have done Welcome to Weabop, where we're constantly late on releasing our podcasts. Because I didn't release yesterday's where we talked about our T-shirt. Or was that the one before? The flying off the seat on our pants?
Yeah, that was the one before the one that
Ah,
we recorded on Sunday.
okay. Okay, so, but
The
yeah,
one
shut up.
where
I was going to
okay.
say shut up Adam needs to be a shirt now, though.
Well, why does it need to be a
Shut up,
shirt?
Adam should absolutely be a shirt.
And we'll just have a very sad looking Adam drawing on it.
Okay, listen here, new guy, Shane.
Okay, well, wait a
man.
second. Wait a second. We didn't even
Okay.
introduce him. Okay, so we have a
Okay.
guest today. Joining us is Shane, one of the bros from the
Hi.
Boku boards. He's a mod over there. He's awesome. You say hi
Glad
now
to be
since I'm
on
not
here.
talking over you.
Hi.
Speaking of Boca boards,
I,
is this a?
I,
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. Is this a Discord channel?
Yeah, it's for Boku no Eruption, Austin Eruption. He's a YouTuber. I've casually mentioned him on here. He's pretty cool.
Okay, if someone later could drop me that Discord link.
Well, I mean, he just reviewed one of my favorite games of all time, so I totally have to.
oh, you mean the cult classic indie hit, The Bouncer, produced and developed by Square Enix?
The
Didn't we talk about
greatest.
that?
Yes, it is one of my favorite B games. Like, it is so beautifully bad. It's like Evil Dead 1. Yeah, let me just pull up his video for you, and I'll just post that in the chat. But
I still can't believe you 100%ed that game.
oh yeah,
Like,
oh yeah. No, I fucking
He's done it. He's done it multiple times, and I would like to apologize beforehand on this. I have some bad latency on my microphone, so I am inevitably going to be cutting you guys off every now and then. And I apologize for that.
Okay, that explains everything. Okay, it's all good. We'll try to compensate. We'll have to get our we'll have to get down our Fuck, I was gonna make a shitty Bleach reference. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't even like that show.
I got you covered. That explains everything.
There you go. See, I immediately had fucking Girl Chain in Paradise pop in my head.
that explains everything.
That explains everything. That's my favorite one that was in the show. The like very nonchalant, just like, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, here, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in the chat for you so you can be enlightened on one of my favorite YouTubers. No joke, it's like currently my favorites are Austin Eruption and Brutal Moose, just because they're like their content and how they make their videos. Like, I'll always love the Super Best Friends, but like most of the time I'll see a playthrough and I'll be like, I don't want to hear Pat yell about this game. Nah. But I do love the Super Best Friends and stuff. But yes, let's get into the topic that Shane had planned because it was a good one, and I'm going to.
I'm in the dark on this, so I'm gonna be surprised.
Yeah, so I literally had to make sure I found the post so I could say it word for word. Cult classic movies, or alternatively, media you are fond of that's niche and doesn't have a wide audience. So I would say that you'd be able to carry this one, Adam, but Bloodborne and Dark Souls are now mainstream. So your indie cred is now gone. Your hipster is you have to give back your hipster card.
It was never an indie or hipster game to begin with.
I mean, from Software is pretty small. They always got like big publishers to push their games.
I think they stopped being. I think they stopped being small the minute they made Dark Souls 1.
You mean Demon Souls?
Yeah,
All right,
'cause
look here.
Didn't Atlas publish Demon Souls like
Yeah.
right off the bat, and then after that they got published by Bamco, and the rest is history.
Yes. I love me some
Okay.
Bamco.
Fair enough, but you want to talk about hipster shit? Demon Souls is like the hipster one that everybody says they play.
Yeah, that's the I'm gonna look down from my nose at you kind of game.
Kind of, yeah. No, Steven who I've mentioned on here quite a lot of times, my stepbrother who got me into the Souls series, just looks down on me because I've never finished Demon Souls, and he just thinks he's superior to me. Which he isn't.
Ooh.
I would like to point out that of all the Souls games, Demons is actually the most niche in that like set of games. So, I mean, you could technically pass. It's the indie game of the Souls series. So
Yeah, and I can see why people I can see why people like it.
I don't. I think it's
totally
trash. I think it's a bad game, and the company should disband, and never make another game again.
Look here.
we'd never get
Triggered.
But sir, then we'd never get the greatest game of all time, Metal Wolf Chaos 2.
Oh, see, I forgot about that game. I was hoping you would say Armored Core, because I'm gonna be like, what are we gonna talk about? We're talking about indie or niche games. Armored Core is a good niche game.
I've actually never played Armored Core. I've heard of it. I might have seen like gameplay of it once or twice. Never really experienced it firsthand, I don't think. Despite
I'm on the same boat as you.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine all the fine tuning and like intricacies. I mean, you may not play the game, but you'll at least know. Like most people understand what I'm talking about when I say this. But like the intricacies of like tuning the cars in Gran Turismo and Forza, but applied to mecha. And it's like it's fucking rad. Like, and they have all these different types of parts. Like when you start off, you just have like basic Gundam style legs and arms and stuff. But one of my favorite mechs that I had, or I guess you would call them cores, was I had like tank treads and this high caliber like tank styled sniper rifle. But it was like my tank tread legs were so like low level and shitty that the gun was too heavy, so I had to like have no other arm and only one shoulder weapon. So it's like this one armed fucking sniping tank mech that's just like, come on, bitch, I got you. I fucking love that game. That was what got me into all the games where like you build your own mechs, like Phantom Crash and oh man, I can't even think of any other ones besides Phantom Crash and Armored Core. Fuck.
Mech and what other kind of games you said?
Oh, like the mech customization games, like because there's Mech Warrior where you pick a mech and you
Custom
go and
Robo.
yeah, to an extent, but that's not like as intricate. Like these were the games where like there was like, oh, if I grab this servo, then my stats will go up by like 0.5% for this and shit like that. Whereas Custom Robo is like,
oh Christ,
yeah, that's more like, hey, you want to have
Robo is like
boom boom or do you want to have shoot?
Yeah, you wanna have a gun that shoots a literal dragon? Here you go, man.
God, what a great! That's another niche game that's great.
Dragon gun. The dragon gun is the best. You get the glider dudes, you get the dragon gun, and then you get the like heat-seeking missile bombs.
You could probably take it a step further on the term of broken and do the worm gun or the wyvern gun or whatever it's called. It's the illegal version of the dragon gun.
Yeah, fucking illegal parts.
Reminds me of
One of the
Metabots.
coolest things. I actually played a Metabots game on
So did I.
on the Game Boy Advance.
I did too. Game Boy Advance as well.
Oh my god, did we was it there was Metabee version
And there's
then, like,
Rokusho version was the other one.
Yeah.
I think if you like
looking...
Yeah, I think if you played through the main game, you could like win parts, but you could also lose parts if you lost.
Oh yeah, that was rough because I would consistently get to like this tournament part, and because I was playing a very specific way, like I had no way to like combat or deal with these other dudes, so I would consistently just lose to the
Yeah.
point where I would have like no parts left, and then I was just like, well, I'm dead.
Hey, I just realized,
Yeah.
Shane, could you up your gain just a little bit? By chance?
Let's see.
I'll try to cut this bit out if I remember. With my new job, I'm always tired, so it's like this morning I was like, I know, I'll set the podcast to upload, and then it'll be uploaded, and then like I look at my clock and I was like, oh, I just fell asleep for like another 30 minutes. I need to take a shower and go now.
Hello?
Yes,
Is this better?
that's a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, I just increased it by 10 decibels,
There we go.
and now I'm actually getting feedback on my devices. So let's hope that works.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear. You sound perfect.
Same here.
I was gonna say, one of the things that inspired this topic for me is actually a mecha-related game, and I know of exactly only one other person who has played this game, and it's Wooly.
I'm excited.
Oh boy.
Have either of you boys heard of a game called Wartech Senko no Ron?
Oh, on the 360, it's like a shoot 'em up fighting game.
Yes!
Oh my god, that game is so weird. That game is so weird. It was like I remember trying it, and it was like I had one other friend I was like, dude, this game sucks in arcade, but I think if I have a friend to learn the game, I could really get it and enjoy it. And he was like, all right, let's give it a shot.
Good.
Dude, he looked at it in like 1 second. He was like, no, I'm not fucking playing this. And I was like, come on, I got it for $1.
I don't.
I must have gotten robbed then, because I bought it for $5.
Well, I worked at GameStop, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was $5. But then because of discounts and shit, like I probably got it for like no, I rented it. That's what it was. Because as a GameStop employee, you're allowed to rent games from the store for like 2 or 3 days or something.
That's rad.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Because the thing is, they want you to try out games so you can recommend them to customers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, every once in a while, you'd get an employee that was a dickhead, and they would rent out the copy that was like the floor new version, where it's like, oh, well, we have to have one case on the floor, so we have to open this one, and that's the floor copy. And there'd be that dickhead that'd be like, oh, I'm going to rent the floor copy of the new game. And then it's like the game sells out, and there's only one left in the system, and it's like, where is it? Oh, Tommy just rented it. It's like, well, I guess we can't fucking sell it.
That sucks. I was gonna say though, like I found it at a fucking garage sale of all things. So someone else out in the world, I don't know who, but their son or someone like was playing it. And this is also the same garage sale where I picked up a multi-game Xbox demo disc.
Ooh.
Which had, of all things, a Shenmue 2 trailer, a trailer for Panzer Dragoon. A racing game, I think it was like an F1 or like Need for Speed, and Jet Set Radio Goddamn Future on it.
That is, dude, I gotta say something about Jet Set Radio Future right now. I fucking hate that Jet Grind Radio is the one that gets all the love when Jet Set Radio Future in every single possible way is a superior game.
It is, and furthermore, I think doesn't Concept of Love come from only Future and not like the first one?
Yes.
A lot of the best tracks are from Future, and then a lot of the tracks that were really good in the first game have remixes that are amazing in Future. Like Future had a better story, better character designs, better gameplay. Like everything was better about it.
Like Fly Like a Butterfly.
Yeah, that's another one.
One song is definitively absolutely worse in Future, and I'm going to get that for you and let you guys listen to
I think I know exactly what your song you're saying, and I like want to reach to the internet and slap you. Is it the birthday cake?
Ah, fucking goddamn it.
I fucking love Birthday Cake. Fuck you, dude. That song is great.
That song is the worst. All right, you know what? You need to have.
It's like a fucking punk song just in the middle of nowhere, but it's sung by an old lady making a cake. It's awesome. That was my jam.
Whenever my radio is on random and it just comes on like super blaringly loud because I just had it on aisle 10 and I'm like, yeah, aisle 10.
Oh, what a great track too.
Shut up, Flippy!
I love that song.
You guys need to get GC on here because he loves Birthday Cake and he will talk absolute mad shit about me for hating on Birthday Cake.
Oh god. Oh man, I fucking love that. That game's soundtrack, and like, God, my favorite thing about that game though was the different gangs, like the noise tanks, their design. The noise tanks and the Immortals looked so fucking cool in Jet Set Future.
I was oh crap, what was I a fan of?
I don't know. What were you a fan of?
I want to say Love Shockers, but I don't know.
The Love Shockers had a neat design. I liked all of the old characters that returned. Like Garam looked so much better in number 2 than 1. Especially because in the first game he was like super racist black.
Who is the freaking like?
I thought he was in a Spider-Man suit when I first saw him because he was so black.
Who's the freaking like police officer that like chased you around and had like the megaphone and everything? He's like, "We gotta get these damn kids."
I don't
Was
I
that
remember.
don't.
was it?
I don't remember
I don't
him.
remember his name. I think it might start with a D or something, but like I do remember his design like super distinctly in my head.
Yeah, I remember both the first and the second game, and I remember the first games, dude. It was just like cliche Zenigata looking, just like scruff dude. And the second game had this weird, almost Mugetsu looking guy with like slick back white hair. And I remember that scene where he's like all like slouchy with his gun out, and he's just like popping off rounds, just like fucking kids.
Yeah, I think that was a Jet Grind Radio. Yeah.
Oh man, I just and I also liked how you could actually fight back in the second game too, whereas in the first game it's like fucking run, which I guess is kind of fun, but it kind of also like it made sense, but it was one of those things where I'd prefer if it made less sense but made the game work better, you know?
Right.
Kind of like No More Heroes, which is a great segue into No More Heroes. Let's talk about No More Heroes. That's a great niche game.
It's getting
I've
another.
had that. I've had that game on my shelf for 2 years, just looking at me. But since I got it for the Wii
Mm.
and the Wii's downstairs, I would have to go downstairs, play this game, and like have the chance of like someone catching me just vigorously beating off with the Wii remote.
In all honesty, it's the only
And
really,
I know what I have to explain that.
because well the thing is it's like it's not as weird unless they like look at Travis doing it and he starts making the weird noises, which it gives him random audio cues. So sometimes he'll be like, "Oh yeah," and other times it's like, so it's like it can range. But then when you get into a fight with like the characters that are very obviously inspired by things like, you know, Playboy and hentai and shit like that, where it's like girls in skimpy outfits, and then you start doing that, then it's a little problematic. Like, man, that fucking game, like, that was one of those moments, that was one of the few moments for me for games where it was like, because for me, whenever I think of games as art for a long time, it was always in like the traditional, like, artful movies where it's like, it has an amazing story, it has amazing acting, has amazing sound, you know, it's like for games it was like, it had to have amazing gameplay, amazing story, amazing sound and controls. But then, like, No More Heroes was so fucking meta, and it, like, just poked at what gaming was and, like, the conventions that it has. And granted, because of... I've already said this before, I can't remember when, but because they went to such an extent to make so many jokes, like, where it's like, oh, shitty, obnoxious, odd jobs that you have to do in games, ha ha ha. It's like, yeah, well... You also made them unfun, just like they are in the other games. So now I'm grinding to have to get to the good part. So it's like it kind of, you know, hurt itself in the first game. Whereas the second game, they improved it and they made them all like 8-bit games. So it was like kind of fun.
I've never not seen anyone play that game and it not look jank as fuck. But also,
Oh, it's very jank.
it looks like a game that is I don't know any other word for it, but like formative. The word formative like pops in my mind, because it always gives like such a striking impression on everyone that plays it.
Mm-hmm.
So like people like I hate to like shill and just like drop names here, but like Matt McMuscles and the guys from TFS, like they always talk with like such fond memories, like golden halcyon days. Where they're like, oh, Travis touchdown and all this, that, and the fucking lore and
well, like
oh
one of
my
the things
God,
about
it's
the
the
game
worst.
is like it does characters better than any game I've ever played. And if you approach it with like the whole meta concepts, the way that like people go about talking in like Hotline Miami in its, you know, meta and artistic values, it's like there's so much shit in No More Heroes where they're just making fun of fucking everything that is held dear in video games. Like they said it was an open world, but the open world, there's literally nothing to fucking do besides buy shirts because your character's not just a fucking vigilante that's going to go around murdering innocents, you know? He's an assassin. He gets paid to do it. So it's like there's fucking nothing to do in the open world. But because of it, you have a ghost town. Yeah, dude, every time you kill any bad guy, they drop money. You just have to pay up front to schedule the fight. That's the bullshit part.
All right.
But yeah, I mean that, like, God, and then like I said, that game did characters so well, and for me, it was like what I took away from it was that each character. Now, granted, one of the things about art is how each person, is affected by it in their own way and what they pull from it. And for me, I kind of had this feeling where each of the characters was either a nod or a joke about a genre. Like Dr. Peace, one of the first bosses you fight, he straight up has a golden gun, like Goldeneye, and he'll stand in one spot and just turn and shoot at you. That's all he does. That's the entire boss fight is you dodging bullets and getting to him. And then they have another fight that's a schoolgirl with a skimpy outfit and everything, and she has like all these cliche anime moves. So it's like she's somewhere between like the hentai anime fan servicey kind of games, like the whole Sengoku Basara kind of bullshit. So
Wait, were you just talking about Shinobu?
Yes. See, you knew exactly what I was talking about when I like said what it was making fun of. Like,
Well, she's a playable character in the second one too. If
oh
I'm
yeah,
not
she was
mistaken.
phenomenal. She's one of my favorite characters. And all the
I was about to say I couldn't tell if you were talking about Shinobu or like the BDSM
Bad girl?
punk chick. Yeah, bad girl.
Bad Girl, what I take from Bad Girl is that she's like the American side of fan service, where it's just like the character doesn't need any depth. You just want to slut. Like that's like if you look at for a lot of the whole sexist side of gaming, whenever there's sexploitation in the West when it comes to video game characters, they're always just made to be pure meat. Whereas if you look at the Japanese, they like to attach a personality because they tend to have this thing where it's like it's not just the body that's attractive, but how the person acts is part of if they're sexy or not.
I had my head tilted to the side in confusion on Bad Girl's intro of her just like,
Cracking open a beer and beating up a gimp.
yeah, like I'm just like, what is okay? Grasshopper Studios.
It was a Wii game.
Okay.
On the Nintendo, the fucking family-friendly console that everyone loves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was
There's this brand new family friendly video game that just got announced called Bayonetta 3. Maybe you guys should take a look at it on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, speaking of niche things in certain media, mommy and leather. Yes, please.
Oh. I was like, where's he going with this? And it's like, oh, okay, I see. We're still on Bayonetta. I was like, is this a different game that I completely missed?
No, we are definitely
No.
still.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've never actually really gotten to play through a Bayonetta game. And the funny thing is, I've never really gotten to play through any of the Platinum games, and it's not because of lack of interest. Like, my friend let me borrow Devil May Cry 3, and it was one of those things to where, like, I got the game overs to trigger the easy unlock, and I was like, no, fuck you, I will beat you. And I proceeded to get through like the brothers and saying fuck you to easy mode and trucking through and figuring the game out was so satisfying.
Oh my god!
But I just
Agni and Rudra.
Yeah, but I never finished it because he was like, okay, dude, I want the game back, and I'm like, but you just let me borrow it. And he was like, yeah, but I kind of need to play through Dante Must Die and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, fuck, I understand because it's fun, but I want to play it. And like it was funny because when 4 first came out, everyone was shitting on it because of Nero. But then like a year later, when I was like, oh, I guess I'll just dodge it, and then like I remember hearing people just like, man, Devil May Cry 4 was really good. I'm just like, everyone fucking told me it was shit. What the fuck? And everyone's like, oh, I just didn't like Nero. It's like it was Metal Gear Solid 2 all over again.
Nero wasn't a bad character. Like, I guess people weren't ready for him.
Dude, it was Raiden. Raiden wasn't a bad character. Well, I mean, there was a few moments where he was annoying, but like, it's just you don't expect it. You get a bait and switch, and it pisses you off. Because he looks just like a young Dante, and if I recall, it was like up until like right before, it was like the not release window, but it was shortly before the game came out that it was like, yeah, it's not Dante. At least as far as I remember. Like I said, I am not that big. I was never that big in the series just because I never got a chance to really get into them. But that's how I remembered. I might just be delusional.
I think you're right about that, but I also think that treads into transparency territory where like people just kind of like were withholding information, and other fans and other people were expecting. They expected Dante. Who else would it be?
Mm-hmm.
It's some other kid who's clearly trying to cramp on Dante's style, and they even like run back the whole thing where the second half of the game is just you playing as Dante, but you're running back through everything that Dante already did.
Yeah, that was one of the main issues people had with 4. Some other ones, which isn't, I mean, it's an issue that people had with, but it's not like gameplay related or anything. But like I don't know, Capcom screwed over like Mikami during this whole thing, and he had no no input for Devil May Cry 4 whatsoever, as far as as I remember.
Capcom's always been like they just talked about this on the Best Friends cast recently, how they like always go from a hot and cold, and I didn't really realize it until they had said that, because I was thinking like, man, the Resident Evil 6 period was a really bad period for Capcom, and after they said that, I was like thinking back, and I was like, oh fuck, this is a constant. Like, they ruined Breath of Fire, they ruined Resident Evil, they ruined Mega Man, and then now they're like having to regain ground and make these games good again.
Yeah, I actually heard the same thing, but it's from Plague of Gripes.
Oh, I love Plague. He's a brilliant man.
He's great.
I was gonna say though, Plague was talking about it, but it was in regards to Dragon Ball, and how like with the fandom, you know, like if you're hot, you know, you can do no wrong, but if you're cold, you can do no right.
Yeah.
And I think Pat echoes this, though I could be wrong, and it could just be like entirely like what Pat was saying, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's definitely periods where like any game developer is like, all right, hey, we're gonna try and do this, and then everybody loses their shit like in a negative way, and it's like, oh my god, I can't fucking believe you, and then they go and do something that like the fans love, and it's like, why would you ever say anything bad?
Yeah.
And you can actually watch this happen in real time as they go from like 0 degrees Celsius, like with Sega, to like 100 degrees the second Mania comes out.
Yeah.
And then back down to 0 the second Forces comes out.
Yeah, no, it's true, it's true. Although, like, one thing I will say about Capcom, though, is like, my biggest issue with Capcom is they never have like a simple like, oh, made a misstep there. It's like they fucking fall down the bottomless pit. Like, I remember the breaking point for me back on the like PS2 Xbox generation, where I was like, you guys need to fucking make this shit up to me, was Dino Crisis 3. That fucking spit in my eye. I was so mad about that fucking game.
Elaborate on this to me.
Okay.
Elaborate.
Okay, so imagine playing have you ever played Dino Crisis?
No.
Okay, so Dino Crisis was essentially what Resident Evil 5 was, but for like the old Resident Evils, where it was like a more arcadey, more actiony horror game. Like, it was still horror-esque, but it was, you know, instead of having a really hard inventory to manage, they did things like there were giant floating boxes for weapon drops and ammo drops and health. The enemies were a lot faster. You took a little more damage. They took a little more damage. So it was like more about maneuvering and fighting and stuff like that. And what they ended up doing was, with 3, they were like, you know what? That was good. And we have this kind of interesting story and a kind of okay art style for this because for some reason they decided to take the story into the future. So it took place on like a spaceship that had like fucking frozen dinosaurs. I don't remember why. It was fucking stupid, but it was like, you know what? Fine, I'll give it a shot. The others were cool. I'll give it a try. But then they put fucking platforming in while still having fixed camera angles like Resident Evil, where it was like really tight, cramped corridors. And they did the thing where they didn't keep the Resident Evil controls, though. They just kept the camera angles. And they didn't compensate with directional change with screens, like how, you know, in Devil May Cry, if you're holding one, yeah. So you already know where I'm going with this.
No.
Yeah, so you'll make a jump, the camera will change, and then you'll immediately walk off the ledge and fall back down. You're like, good, now I gotta jump back up all these fucking floating boxes, and then your guns were just like stupid futuristic laser rifles and shit. So it was, or if they were supposed to be like regular guns, their impact was so little that I remember them as laser rifles. Like, that's how bad the sound design at least was. Like it was just so lifeless and boring. And I remember I was just like, because I was so hyped for it because the other two were so much fun, and then when I saw the trailers for it, I was like, this is weird, but you know what? I'll give it a shot. And before I went to go buy it, that's when I saw all the reviews. And it wasn't like, I was used to Resident Evil getting those reviews where it's like, it's for Resident Evil fans. It's okay. And it's like, well, that means I'm going to fucking love it. But Dino Crisis, they were like, no, not even for Resident Evil fans. Avoid it. Run away. And it's just like, no.
It's so sad, man.
Oh,
the
man.
fucking tale of tragedy in one game.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, it was so upsetting. And like the worst thing was, I remember when Resident Evil 5 came out, and I was so butthurt about it because it wasn't scary at all. I didn't like where they took the storyline with the Ouroboros. I thought the Plagas stuff was cool, so them like suddenly making this sudden change. Also, the fact that everything looked like it was covered in baby oil was weird.
That is weird.
It kind of did.
Yeah,
it
but
kind
like,
of did.
I remember playing it and I was like, this is a shitty Resident Evil, but this could have been a great Dino Crisis. Like, I always say that, and it's like, I still am upset about it because it feels so true in my heart. Like, I feel like we had the darkest timeline for horror games. Like, I want to go to the parallel universe where that was Dino Crisis and it helped bring back the series, and then Resident Evil 5 was something scary, and Dino Crisis 4 and 5 were Resident Evil 5 and 6, and were like legitimately awesome, fun, actiony, horror-themed games where I shoot a T-Rex. It's like, why didn't I get that?
Isn't there a series called Turok or something? Where
Turok. Here's the thing about Turok, because you know what? Good segue, by the way. You need to be a guest on here quite often.
That was on fucking accident. I guess I'll just.
I
guess I'll just be here.
Turok is a great niche game because it really was. It was like, it wasn't if I recall, it wasn't really popular on the PC, but on the 64, like, it thrived. Like, people fucking loved playing that. Like, everyone always talks about GoldenEye memories. I didn't really have GoldenEye memories. Like, me and my friends, I remember we tried it and we were like, this is all right. We played Perfect Dark for a little bit.
GoldenEye is.
It has not aged well. It has not
I have
aged
salt
well.
about that game. I have bad salt about that game.
Yeah. Why, did you have like a brother that played Odd Job or something?
Oh no! It's worse than that.
I want to know.
So, in an era of good old 2011, right?
So this is recent.
Oh boy.
Recent-ish.
Yeah. So 2011. It was about the time that I got like Jet Set Radio Future, and Wartech. But basically, what had happened is I had GoldenEye, and I didn't have a lot of friends like to hang around with. I didn't like, and I also didn't have internet at my house at that time because we were kind of poor, and making rent was hard enough. With, several mouths to feed, single mom.
I got you. Yeah.
Basically, what ended up happening is like I'm just like, GoldenEye has a story mode. I'm bored. I mean, like it doesn't blow ass. I guess I'll play it. And without a guide, without like having anything to assist me, I go and beat the entire game on agent mode. I have my own file.
And this is the remake, right?
No, the original.
Oh, on 64, like straight up. Okay.
Yeah, like the original GoldenEye with all of its
Dude, wait, did you do
controls.
Temple? Did you even do Temple?
I did the entire game on agent, which is easy.
Oh, on easy. Okay, I was trying to think of what the hardest difficulty was for a second.
That's 00 agent.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
no. There's an ultra hard mode where it's 007 agent, I think, but you have to beat the entire game on 00 agent first.
Okay.
So what I did is like on agent mode, not knowing that like this locks you out of like actually getting the good ending in the last two stages. What happens is I go through the entire game. I go through all this shit to find out that I didn't get the good ending and I didn't get shit. So I'm like, okay. So I sneak onto like game FAQs on at the school computers one day. I'm like, all right, so what's up with this shit, guys? What's going on? Come to find out, I had to beat the entire game again on secret agent mode because beating it on agent just only unlocks secret agent for the first mission that you beat agent on. So I had to go all the way through it again, beating it on Secret Agent, and I couldn't get through the mission on Secret Agent because they start putting turrets in there.
Mm.
And I didn't have access to a guide. I couldn't look up any video walkthroughs. Like, at that time, like, I was just done and fucking spent with it.
Dude, my whole thing with that game was like after playing it, like especially going back to it, I remember I went back when I went back to it and I played it, I was like, these controls are boo boo, like they're so busted and ass. And then like, cause I remember I said that to a friend and he was like, well, it hasn't aged well, and I was like, bitch, I fucking played the shit out of Torok, and that was from the same fucking generation. That game is way smoother. Like the whole like actual correct aim button fucks everything up. Like the I think it's R, the R button, how you use that to like lock your character so you can move the cursor. That ruins the game. Like it's so boo boo because of it. And like Torok was smart because they made it to where like I remember there was a lot of control for your sensitivity, but also a lot of the weapons had like good spread, so not being able to have pinpoint accuracy was just fine. Like if you're firing a rocket launcher, grenades, a chain gun, a flamethrower, a shotgun, you know, stuff like that, you don't have to have precise aim. You, if anything, it's more about maneuverability. Like, can you jump past the rocket explosion? Can you dodge the grenade bounce? You know, stuff like that. So it was really smart in that regard. And then as the games went on, they allowed you to play as different characters. And at first it was just skins, but like I said, within the same generation as Perfect Dark and GoldenEye, you had a game where someone could play as a fucking raptor who had like a special like pounce and like dive mechanic and stuff to where he could like insta-kill characters from like a certain height. And like if he like charged down players and killed them, he would get back health. And then you'd have other characters where they'd be like a lot slower, but they would have like twice as much health and shit. So it was like the first character shooter, and it was so cool. And the weapons were so rad. They had this like, because that was one of the first games that had power weapons that spawned on the stage. And one of them was called the Cerebral Bore. Now let's break that down for a second, okay?
All right.
So
The
cerebral.
brain stab.
Yeah, pretty much. It's cerebral, brain, bore, stab, drill, something like that, right? You shoot out essentially one of the Sentinel, or one of the, I don't know what they're called from the Matrix, the flying robots with the tentacles.
Those things.
Yeah, it's a gun that
You
shoots.
can just call those Sentinels.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. So it's a gun that shoots out like a Matrix Sentinel, and you can't fire it unless it locks onto someone. But when it fires, it homes in on them. It is uninterruptible. You cannot dodge it. If it gets locked on and fired, it will find its target. When it finds its target, it's a headshot, drills into their head, and blows up the character. It's one free kill.
Jesus Christ.
So you can't even like hide behind a wall, close
No.
doors or anything.
No, it'll clip. It'll clip through shit to find you.
Oh god.
Dude, that was the most fun because you'd just be playing, and the game would spawn at like, I think every 10 minutes or something in a match. So, you know, one person would be like trying to camp on it, just like it's gonna spawn soon, and then like 3 people would jump up, and then so everyone's fighting over this one kill. Or, you know, you'd sneak off and grab it while big firefights happening, and then you suddenly, because I was with friends where we didn't really, Turok wasn't as easy to screen look because it was one of those games to where it had a long enough time to kill where you could kind of get away with like multiple like hits and shit. So like screen looking wasn't as powerful, but I remember just playing, and there were those moments where you'd hear the fire of it, and everyone's just like, who the fuck got it? Oh god, is it me? Like everyone's freaking out, and then suddenly your screen just like starts tilting, like as if your guy's like got a nervous tick in his head, and it starts flashing red and black, and it's like your character's seizuring as they're getting hit by it. It was so fucking cool. And
That's
like,
radical. Like that's the immediately like anus clenching. Like
yes,
fuck.
Exactly, dude. It was so cool.
That sounds like a very more like intense version of the blue shell in Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was gonna say that's the only thing I can equate it to is playing Halo and hearing that signature.
Oh yeah, the
or just minding your own business. Someone walks up behind you and you hear "wookoom" as the fucking boomstick goes off.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss Halo. I miss how good Halo was.
Man, I'm right there with you because the first time I started playing Halo, it was with like a bunch of friends at this like teenager get together,
Mm-hmm.
like way back in the day. And basically what we would do is like at youth group or at this get together thing, we would just like sit around and play like Halo 3. It was like the big thing to do.
Yeah.
Like Gears couldn't top it, like other games couldn't top it, Call of Duty couldn't even touch it. Like Halo's just fun.
Halo, yeah, exactly. Like, because
Did we
that's my
did we
issue
just
with.
upgrade to did we just upgrade to AAA titles, by the way?
No, no,
Uh,
no. I will say this real quick. I will just say this real quick, and then we can get back onto some niche games because I got some, or niche anything, because I got some stuff that I want to talk about. But one thing I will say that's very niche nowadays is the depth of game mode customization that Halo had. And that, I think, is what set it apart from, like, games at that time. Like, no other shooting game had that. You know, like, unless you were on PC. Nothing on console had that.
I feel like that isn't niche, more like needed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
Needed in
fair.
more games. Definitely needed in more games.
But so I'll segue off of Halo though, because there is another character shooter that I absolutely loved that is super niche, and if I can get my hands on it, because I know he's not going to watch this because he's probably busy making another video. I'm gonna try to send this to Austin for the garbage fire. It's called Brute Force, and
I've heard
goddamn,
of this game somewhere.
that game, it is the first, like, well, I mean, like I said, Turok Rage War was kind of the first character shooter. It had the Raptor, it had like the different stats and stuff, but Brute Force like had characters like supers and their own loadouts and passive skills and stuff, and like it was built from the ground up for the co-op campaign, and it also had a system link based multiplayer that was really fun. But
Uh-huh.
this is the team you got, right? So the first character is Tex. He's just typical Space Marine. He's a jarhead, but the thing is, they made him like the good kind of jarhead, where it's not like white people, chicken wings, and big-breasted blonde women, blah blah blah. It's like, I fight for freedom and righteousness throughout the galaxy. Yeah. So
Okay, that's pretty cool. So that's a fucking a StarCraft 2.
yeah, he was essentially a StarCraft 2 Marine without the armor. And literally his only, because everyone's skill, you had a meter, right? And when you use the skill, the meter would slowly drain over time. Depending on the power of the skill, it would drain faster, or in some cases, it would just immediately drain. And Texas, he would simply dual wield. That's all his was. But he was the only character that could carry two heavy weapons at the same time. So, you know, you would dual wield things
Oh,
like,
that's busted.
yeah, it was fucking rad. So you dual wield like chain guns or fucking like power lasers or rocket launchers and shit like that. Then the second forceful character, like strong style, was Brutus, and he was like a lizard man, and his power was primal mode. And when you do it, it would give you heat vision, and that was a game with like a lot of shrubbery and cover. So heat vision was very helpful, especially on stages with like different elevations and stuff like that. And sniping was powerful in that game too. So like being able to just immediately spot everyone was super powerful, especially if you had like he was a good spotter for your sniper character. And the cool thing is when you went primal mode, if you would go into a special charge, and if you ran into someone, depending on how long you had been running for, you'll do a damage like ram into them. And dude, one of my favorite things to do as him was to ram people either off the stage or like into lava. That shit was fun. And then there was the character with the cloak. She was, typical cloak character, and she had like a backstab, no big deal. But then there was my favorite character.
Backstaboo.
Oh yeah, she was. It was Femme Spy. She was a cutie. But my favorite character was the sniper, Flint. And now I fucking hate playing sniper on console. Like I fucking hate it. I play Overwatch all the time on PS4, and I never touch Widowmaker. I never touch Hanzo. Even with me like turning off auto aim and doing everything to make it easier, I still don't like it. And Flint is the exception because her ult gave her an aimbot. Like her special skill that, like I said, you could toggle on and off was an aimbot that would always aim for the head.
This
That's fucked up.
Yeah,
mm,
it was so fucking good. Granted, when you used it, it would empty the entire meter if I recall. Like you couldn't just pop it real quick. Like if you spent it, you spent it. And it also was the
Okay.
slowest to refill. So it was pretty balanced. But like if you were playing versus, if the other team if you're playing on a stage with without like buildings and stuff, that was 4 free kills pretty much. And if you're playing campaign, you could wipe an entire area of enemies if your finger was fast enough. Like,
I would hope this shit was balanced.
I mean, you could tell they went with campaign, like fun and balancing the campaign more so than versus, because this was before Xbox Live actually got up and like turned on.
Yeah.
So it was, like I said, the only multiplayer was either split screen 1-on-1, or you could do console or system link, which I did a few times, and it was really fun. But the cool thing was, like, as you played through the campaign, you'd unlock the shitty minions and bosses and stuff. And they even gave, like, the jobber enemies that you fight that are just, like, there's just random space Nazi Marines, where it's like, they're not the Space Marines, but they're the bad Space Marines. Like, those
Right.
guys. One of them had an orbital strike where you would just, like, wherever you were aiming at, you'd hit the button, and then it would just, like, a fucking laser beam would just shoot down and obliterate anything in the way. And then, like, the alternate version of that guy that would have whatever other weapon was needed to give some flavor in campaign, he had a bombing run. So it's like they went through and they gave everyone at least one thing to play with in versus. It was really fucking cool.
Sounds like
Okay.
it.
It was really,
You
it was really, it was, yeah, it was a fun time.
Speaking of Xbox Live and defunct services,
Oh, boy.
what are your guys' thoughts on the Scott Pilgrim video game?
Oh my
The
god.
beat 'em up?
Yeah.
I loved
Yo.
it. It was so
Okay,
good.
so I played through that full game, and yeah, man, yeah.
Daddy Vivendi, please give us back.
I know,
back
right?
now.
Dude, what I want in a perfect world, I want them to do like an HD, not an HD re-release, just a re-release of it, and maybe add like another character. Make it to where as you beat the evil X's, you could play as them.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Okay, that'd be cool, and you actually wouldn't have to do like too much with certain ones.
Yeah.
Like with Todd Ingram, you could just like basically put his head on like a Scott's body or something like that, because they're meant to be like not just visually, but their names are meant to sound similar. Their pasts are meant to sound similar.
Yeah.
Man, what do I even talk about that game? Like, the sprites are amazing, gameplay's
Dude,
great.
Anamanaguchi did a fucking 36, like, no, it was like a 50-track soundtrack. It was fucking perfect.
Anamanaguchi
Hey,
is so good.
I would like to insert a controversial opinion about this game.
Oh, you don't like the soundtrack, do you?
Oh no.
Okay,
Even
okay.
more controversial.
Oh. Okay.
Gameplay's fun, but it also sucks.
Really? Go on.
Okay, so controversial fucking elitist snooty opinion time. I've played that game a lot of times on each difficulty. I've done it solo. I've gotten the Negascott ending on the hard mode, which I forget the name of, but like the fucking game mode names were like super cool to me. Anyway, I've done all of that, and like through all of it, I've realized that there's no point to not just abuse the coin cheat at the start. Where basically, if you have a what was it? It was a snack item that you could take with you, a to-go item,
Mm-hmm.
and then you held left and right triggers and input the Konami code. You die, but you would also get $50 in Canadian bucks.
Mm.
And
Okay.
so what you do at the start is you just do that. You keep buying the snack. You do that. You die, but the snack procs and brings you back to life. So you buy it again with your pittance of change.
Yeah.
You keep doing that. You unlock the video rental store.
Yeah, you pay off his fee.
Right.
Yeah, and pay off your fee. The alternative to that is playing through the game normally and just buying buffs and stuff wherever you go. But in return, especially playing on hard, you are designed to be like it's designed on harder difficulties for you to have more people to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a catch-22, at least playing single player, for me, in my experience, where I could either have a run that balances itself out pretty well by the end with Gideon and his fights, and also dealing with Kedi and Nagi twins in their stages, or I do the hard mode legit way, have significantly less fun, a lot more frustration, especially because you can't most enemies actually don't have any startup to their attacks.
Mm-hmm.
They will just be able to frame zero hit you with something, and that makes moves like the counter worthless, because
Yeah, because
then
it has like a few frame startup.
Right.
yeah, you have to be able to have a reaction time to them doing it. And for the counter move, I found it's easier to just spam circle whenever you're surrounded, and you'll inevitably hit someone, and bam.
Yeah, here's the thing about the Scott Pilgrim game, in my opinion, because I definitely see where you're coming from, and I agree for a different reason that it is a very flawed beat 'em up. Like, out of all the beat 'em ups from that age, I definitely think Castle Crashers kind of took the spotlight for good reason. And
Castle Crashers is so
yeah,
good.
that game is like perfection in my opinion. But the problem with Scott Pilgrim's gameplay was that they went with the River City Ransom style of stats, where it's it's all based around consumables and what you eat and stuff like that, and what you buy and apply to your character, and all of your skills are what you unlock through level ups. And I think because of that, because they didn't go with the open world system of River City Ransom, it hurt the game in the long run, because it's either A, you have your butt reamed over and over again when you get to the harder stages. Because I played with a three-man party when I played through, and we had a lot of fun, but we had to replay a couple of the stages just to, try to get some cash to get some better items. But yeah, it's like if they had just gone with, here is the city. I can't remember where Scott Pilgrim takes place at, to be honest.
Toronto.
Okay, I was about to say Ottawa, but I was like, you know what? That's just the first city that came to mind from
In
Canada.
the mysterious land of Toronto character.
Yeah. I forgot about
Scott
that
Pilgrim
line.
was dating a high schooler.
Yeah. But yeah, my whole thing with it was if they had made it to where you actually got to explore Toronto in the style of River City Ransom, to where it was, more open world, then I think that would have been fine. But instead, it just seemed more like they were doing a nod, and it hurt themselves in the long run. Kind of like what I was saying with No More Heroes, where they kind of hurt themselves for the sake of a joke. It's
Right.
Honestly, I could totally see them doing letting you explore bigger stages, because it's a downloadable game. They could have added another gig to let you have actual stages to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And if something doesn't make geological sense, subspace. It solves itself.
Yeah, there you go.
If you can't get Summer, take the bus or subspace it. And that could even lead to more little events, someone else is trying to use subspace and they're blocking your way, or
Oh, they could have put quests in too, like meeting the different, finding young Neil, and him being like, "Hey, I can't find knives" or something like that, and you would have to find her and do a mini boss fight, and then you'd find Neil and be like, "Oh, she was just upset." Okay, or you find that snooty bitch that was played by Audrey Plaza in the movie.
Aubrey, sir.
I'm sorry. Granted, she is a goddess, so I understand defending her.
Yes, thank you for
Julie.
understanding.
Julie, I'm just
Julie, yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
I remembered her subtitle in one of the books, which is has issues.
Dude, here's the thing. My favorite thing, one thing I will definitely say about Scott Pilgrim that was super great, and this is the movie and the comic and the book from someone who on day one did all of them. I wasn't able to read the first 4 volumes when they first came out, but I bought all 4, read all 4 of them, and then I proceeded to buy each volume as they came out and read them. And I saw the movie at the midnight airing, and I didn't buy the game myself, but a friend came over the day that the game came out, bought it, downloaded it, and we marathoned it. So I enjoyed how much Brian O'Malley wanted each one to be different in the sense of how they ended. That was really smart.
Yeah.
They all felt
like
like they
one of
were
those-
whole products,
The Scott Pilgrim movie is like one of those movies where my dad's not sure if he should like or not. Like he watches it, like if it's on TV, he'll watch it all the way through, and I'm like, do you like this movie or not? And he's just like, I don't know.
Tell him to love it for the direction, because Edgar Wright's a god, and you could sell someone on that movie's direction by the fucking bus fadeaway alone.
Yeah, the transition, like that movie. Whoever, if he didn't do the cinematography himself, he should like find the guy that did the cinematography for it and just give him like a trust blowjob. You know, it's just like that. Damn.
No.
You're strap yourself in. You're gonna hear a lot of this from us.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
But
I've only listened to 1 or 2 podcasts so far.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. It's all good.
I haven't seen Thumbnail Not Related yet.
Oh man, yeah.
It's in a tab.
You don't want to see the thumbnail. You don't want to see the actual picture. Because I cropped it in a specific way to where you don't see what Courage and Dipper are looking at. Which, by the way, let me just say, I know it's got a decent fan base, but I feel like Gravity Falls is underappreciated. Like that.
Underappreciated, series. Yes. Underrated, no.
No, because all the fans, like anyone that started watching it, was like, "Holy shit, this is like one of the greatest fucking cartoons." And it's like, I mean, I don't like throwing that around, to be honest. Like, I love Steven Universe, I love Adventure Time, Regular Show, Avatar. I like a lot of the like ongoing story shows that have been made in America, but no series, and I'm like even talking about like live action series. I have never seen a series so perfectly wrap up its ending. Like if Alex Hirsch never comes back to Gravity Falls, it is perfectly fine, and it
I've
always
heard
good.
This exact sentiment somewhere else, and I swear to God, it's from one of you guys.
Yeah, no. I said it before on here actually.
I was about to say like, I'm getting really
Weird
deja
Mageddon.
vu. Who said this?
The thing is,
did I watch a Super Eye Patch Wolf on this?
But yeah, like, because the thing is, he was really smart in the way he did the ending. Like, you could tell that, like, Disney was probably like, we don't want to do this. This is going to cost money. He was like, but it's the right thing to do. The finale was a 3-parter, and each episode ran in an hour block. Like, they were all 40-minute episodes. It was just so fucking good.
And then there's the whole bit about like cracking the code and everything.
Yeah. No, that was like crazy, because I remember I had a friend that was into the whole cracking the code thing at work, and she was like, dude, you and your because it was my girlfriend at the time, she was like, you and your girlfriend have got to watch Gravity Falls. You tell me you like Steven Universe. It's like the same style of like ongoing story. It's just that's actiony, this is mystery. And I was like, maybe. And then she like came to work one day with like bloodshot eyes, giant bags under them, and she was like, dude, we were right. And I was like, what? The conspiracy, everything was right. Oh my god. I was like, what the fuck, man?
If someone comes up to you looking like a goddamn crack addict after one
it's like the
day
picture of
and
Charlie
says the
Day from
conspiracy is
Sunny in
right.
Philadelphia.
like I swear, like if someone came up to me and did that, like after a day, I would find a gun, put them in a chair, and alert like medical professionals. Like I'd get someone trained in like psychiatric evaluation in there and just be like, point out the thing that's wrong with them and fix it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do something.
So, I just, because after saying all that and thinking about craziness, another niche game.
I feel like someone's going to have to do that for me when Monster Hunter World launches in January.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's a niche game, kind of, in a way that's going to...
No, it's not. No, it's not. You shut your mouth.
Niche is not a bad thing, okay? Get over it. But it really is, because you could tell from... It's funny how many people I've heard talk about how there's now a lock-on. Like, there's now a lock-on?
Yes.
What the fuck?
But
how many games have they gone without a lock-on?
You can totally play with all of them.
Well, I mean, obviously you can play without it, but I'm saying like that's something that's existed since like the 64.
Technically, the lock-on exists.
I would say before that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where, but I am
probably a
positive.
PC game. You're probably right, but the first one that comes to mind for me is Zelda with Z targeting.
So technically, the lock on exists. Did he cut out?
Sean or
Hello?
Shane, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, no,
Okay.
yeah, you're good. You're good, Adam. Go on. He was just listening patiently. Okay.
All right. Well, no, I was referring to you because you kind of like just stopped talking out of nowhere when you
Oh,
were
I mean,
clearly
I know
talking.
I know I go a million miles a second, but I mean, sometimes I do stop talking.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Well, anyway,
Mm-hmm.
um, technically the lock on existed, in a way, since I want to say 3 Ultimate.
It was just shit.
Um, well, what it did it was you would click on it's like what monster do you want to focus on, and it would be a little cursor on it, and you wouldn't be locked on the camera wouldn't be locked on the monster. You would just tap a button and the camera would refocus facing the monster,
Mm.
which is okay. But now, if for World, it's a full-on lock-on button, and it actually makes the camera worse.
That's what Pat said in the best cast. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, no, it actually makes the camera worse, and
How
the
do you
fact.
do that?
My thoughts
How do
exactly.
you manage? Like it's like okay, we've had the perfect lock-on system since 2006. Kingdom Hearts 2 came out and did it. Why is everyone having a problem?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 2, despite all of its falls, had they did a lot of smart stuff with the combat,
yeah.
including the lock on.
And now, yeah, like you don't even need the lock-on button because you can easily move the camera
Oh, with the
around.
right
Now that
thumbstick now.
yeah, you have an
Yeah.
actual thumbstick. You don't have to do the freaking monster claw that Pro Jared talks about
Yeah.
all the friggin' time and get freaking carpal
Yeah,
tunnel up the ass.
Tekken fingers as it's commonly known.
Tech-
That's a good.
You're not
I
wrong.
like that one. But I was gonna
You're
say
not wrong.
actually, real quick, while we're on the topic of Monster Hunter, I already know what I'm gonna play.
What are you gonna
The
play?
big gun.
Oh, heavy bowgun?
This
Heavy
is
bow
the
gun.
This is the first game where you can fucking have, or at least in a while, where you can just have a gun and it doesn't suck to use it.
You can shoot and walk now.
Is that what the
Shoot.
problem was? You couldn't shoot and walk in the other one.
That
Oh,
and
yeah.
like on 3 Ultimate on the 3DS and like any handheld Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's like a third-person strafe aim
Fuck
now.
you.
Yeah, it's a third person. Yeah, it's a third person strafe aim now. Like originally, you had to like roll with your weapon out, make sure you're at a safe spot, stop, sanction yourself, aim, fire. Like
Was it one of those
you
things
got.
where if you were good with it, it was worth it though?
Oh, absolutely. I am a gunner main in Monster Hunter, and
Mm.
I can tell you, and I can write a book on how you get good with heavy bow gun bishop. So
I also like the charge axe or whatever it is, the one that they first set you up with on the training. I was like, this is rad. Like switching
yeah,
between the axe and the broadsword.
charge
Good old
blade type.
taxi boy.
Yeah, charge blade type.
It's definitely like as I told you, I didn't really give the beta too much time because I remember after hearing people talk about it, they were like, yeah, it's a Monster Hunter demo, and I was like, well, I mean, I already know what Monster Hunter is. I already have a friend to play it with who has friends that play Monster Hunter, so I'll always be able to find a party.
Oh, he's talking about me.
And I was just like, I don't really need to play the beta. I already know I'm gonna buy it. Like, it looks fucking gorgeous. It has a single player campaign for when I can't play multiplayer. All of the issues that the die-hard Monster Hunter fans have been complaining about have been addressed. It's like this seems to be the best Monster Hunter to jump in on.
I love how people are complaining about like the stuff that they've fixed or added in of being too easy, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, buddies, I think you're confusing the word easy with convenient.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with functionality. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong
Then
with things
again,
working.
these are Monster Hunter fans. They've had to be dealing with this shit for like ages.
And I'm one of those people, and it's just like, why are you guys complaining? You should feel saved. This is your messiah now. Like come on.
Speaking of Messiah, check out this image, which you guys should maybe not post in your YouTube description.
Oh boy.
Which this is what sold me on hammers. Whenever I was playing 3 Ultimate, I never got very far in the story because again,
Would
this
you
was like
believe me? Would you believe me if I told you that Hammer is like awesome in World now?
Oh boy. I was actually gonna say like I didn't play very far in 3 Ultimate, but like for what I did play, I played hammers just because I wanted to get used to them, so I could use this thing. Like I saw this and I'm like, oh my god.
See, for me, the reason I would play hammers, I mean, granted, it's not going to be in. Oh wait,
I'm
Alexa.
sorry, I'm looking at it right now. They're talking about the fucking Uragon hammer.
Damn it.
That's great, bitch. It's the
What's
goddamn-
that? Someone's got a big dick? Playing like a real manly man, are we? Alright then, curl up your mustache and roll up your sleeves while we activate Feline Heroics 135% max attack. Did I fucking stutter, bitch? 2,500 and fucking 6.
You're gonna murder me.
Okay, so real quick, let me just say, like, the reason that I like would play hammer, granted it's not going to be in World, but I remember seeing the JoJo's crossover, the Diamond
yeah.
Unbreakable hammer.
Yeah.
That when I saw that, I was like, can there be some crossovers in the new one, baby, please?
Well, they're already doing it with Horizon Zero Dawn, so they're probably
Yeah,
gonna do some
I think
more.
that's a pretty good crossover, to be honest, because like I wasn't a big fan of the game myself. It was pretty like it came out the same time as Breath of the Wild, and we picked it up at the same time as Breath of the Wild. And there's so much that style of game, you know, the here's the world, go do shit. And I just liked Zelda's aesthetic and gameplay more. So sadly, I neglected it, and I just never played it. But the character's cool, the aesthetic's neat. So I think the whole alloy skin and the weapons from it is, I think that's a pretty fun one.
Yeah.
Also, Mega Man Cat.
Yeah, Mega Man Cat. Oh boy.
I'm hyped for Mega Man Cat.
Do you know of the it's in Generations, but there's a Jotaro coat and hat for the Palicos, the
No
cats.
fucking way.
Yeah, there
Oh my
totally is.
God.
I don't know if it's actually Jotaro, but it's like it's the coat and it's the hat. Like it's how could it be anything else?
Oh man. Okay, so we are approaching that 70-minute mark. Is there any last minute niche games you guys want to bring up real quick for like a lightning round assessment?
Ooh,
Or games or movies or bands or pieces
Or,
of fine
like,
art.
Like just stuff that like kind of is there, but like nobody like talks about.
Yeah, like
kinda.
just give me a quick list of niche stuff you want people to check out, so you have more people to talk to about it.
You know,
OC remix albums. They've got a lot of good remix stuff.
Yeah,
If you
Overclock
like
remix, they're great.
Most, one of my favorite albums is the Pokemon, the Missing No tracks, and the Zelda 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary set. Both of those have like a lot of good tracks. Recommendations: Divine Olivine on the first, and on the second, Kaze no Sakana, which is super good. Like 8-bit, like folk-ish, kind of like ballad track to the Ballad of the Windfish theme.
Huh. Okay.
Books. Read Everything by Eoin Colfer. That's Eoin Colfer, Colfer. Really good guy. He did the Artemis Fowl series, which isn't so niche, but everything else he did is niche. Such as Airman and The Supernaturalist, both really good books. He's a very solid young adult author that I really enjoy. And let's see, I'll do a movie and a couple games. Movie. I actually don't think I've seen many movies that anyone would consider niche.
Okay.
So everyone,
Whoa.
do themselves a favor, go and watch Back to the Future Part 2 again.
I've got a.
Wait. Shane, you
Is
said
he
you
not
had a
done?
few games.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Couple games. Let's see. I haven't played it yet, but Hive Swap Act 1. If you've ever been curious about Homestuck, didn't want to deal with the fandom, but also didn't want to have to deal with the first 3 acts and how fucking goddamn boring they are.
That's such a good assessment already.
Um, oh my god, that's another topic for another day.
Yeah,
I
we'll talk.
could
We'll talk
spend
about.
an hour.
We
talking
should
about
do a
Homestuck.
podcast about toxic fan bases, and we'll invite you on for that one, Shane.
Oh
anything
man.
anything that identifies as a fandom is toxic. Done. But I'll stick around for the rest of the hour anyway. So Hive Swap Act 1 is done. It's out. The other acts and the companion game is coming out soon? Question mark. I mean, this is a game that's been in development for like 5 years, so don't quote me on anything. But it's fun. There's the game is currently like 4-ish hours long. It's a decent sized adventure game. It doesn't want to bullshit you. It's not going to be like King's Quest or any of those other games.
No red herrings.
No red herrings. No like inescapable situations or anything like that.
That's good.
And then lightning round on a couple others. Doki Doki Literature Club, Cave Story. Cook Serve Delicious. That's a really good one. Downwell. Underappreciated but not underrated. It's a really good game. Disgaea 2 and Disgaea 5, excellent entries in the in one of Nippon Ichi Software's like biggest series and one of its best sellers.
Been meaning
in
to
Japan
try. Been meaning to try Disgaea 5. I know the complete version is on the Switch. I need to get on that.
Switch also has a 3-hour demo of it. You can try that. If you don't like what you see, well, it's going to be 150 hours of that bitch.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Oh, did you have another one?
No.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and pass it on to Adam then, because I already got mine lined up, and I'm gonna make mine real quick. I'm gonna shoot through mine. So go ahead, Adam.
I only got like a game, just a single game on mine, and I'm actually playing it right now, juggling it with my other games. But I never heard of the series until now. But it's on the 3DS. It's Etrian Odyssey 5.
I've heard of those games.
Yeah, they were. I think they started with the DS, and it's a dungeon crawling turn-based RPG. Where as you go through the dungeon, you draw out the map yourself as you're exploring the dungeon on the touchscreen.
Oh my god, this sounds like the base game that they used for like Persona Q or something.
It is Persona Q.
Actually,
Persona Q is a spin-off of it.
Yeah, Persona Q is from the creators of Etrian Odyssey. Yeah, the FOEs from Persona Q, those exist in Etrian Odyssey.
Fusus Oiken Eidolons.
Okay, it has a really weird Latin name in English. In Japan, it's called Field on Enemy, where the community calls them just fucking overpowered enemies.
Oh. Okay.
Okay,
overpowered.
I'm
That's
sorry,
a good
laugh
one.
built up there as I realized the pun halfway through.
Yeah. Like at first I was like, oh, they just called them overpowered, and I was like, wait, that's actually the fucking anagram. Like that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go on.
Yeah, so current one, I'm not entire. I don't have any. I haven't played any of the other ones, but I am willing to go back and play earlier installments. But this current one it released about a couple months ago, I want to say. The classes are really cool. And so far, just gameplay, as far as turn-based RPG gameplay is concerned, it's pretty good and it's fun. And I love the concept of drawing out the map as you go through the dungeon. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's always a fun gimmick. Okay, so here's mine. I'm a quick movie one that every time I ever mention it, everyone's always like, never heard of it. It's called Murder Party. Imagine like if you've ever known a shitty art house student and they just won't shut the fuck up about their stupid avant-garde project, and then you see it and it's fucking stupid avant-garde shit, instead of it actually being truly avant-garde. You know, like the people that throw that word around thinking that they're smart for saying it, instead of saying I push boundaries, they're like, I want to say something that sounds flavorful and smart and cool. It's a movie making fun of those people if they decided to turn murder into an art. It's fucking brilliant. It's hilarious. And like I said, if you've ever been to an art school and you've been around shitty art students, you'll fucking love it. It resonates with you so good. And I got it for like $2 at Blockbuster when they were closing.
So good?
Oh yes, so good. It's so good. You're gonna keep saying so good.
English major.
Oh, whatever. It was very good. It was wonderful. It was phenomenal. It was
so well. It's not good, everybody. Go to school, America.
Hey, I'm a college dropout. Thank you very much, from art school. So
Hey,
you know, my money didn't go into learning how to speak good. It went into learning how to make doodle face.
If you went to college, you could probably tell me if that was Bloodborne 2 or not. God damn it.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
So books real quick. Anything from David Wong. John dies at the end. This book is full of spiders.
I have that book.
Oh my god, it's fucking amazing. The third book just came out. I still need to read it. His other book that is not tied to the David Wong series, the Futuristic Violence and Fancy Suits, also phenomenal book. It's essentially Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with an underground crime syndicate.
That sounds rad.
It's fucking great. Peter Klein's, he wrote a series called X Heroes. It's essentially if you took the Walking Dead kind of setting and put superheroes in it. It's very gritty, very serious, very interesting, and the superheroes, they're not ridiculous like Boku no Hero Academia or My Hero Academia, but they are like interesting in the same sense where it's like, oh, that's a cool power. What else? And then I guess that's it for those. The only game I really want to say is one that's, I mean, everyone I know knows I love it, but I still think not enough people have played it because of its merit as art, is Hotline Miami. Can't talk about that game enough. It truly is incredibly meta in all of like what each of the characters represent, what everything means, the bigger meaning of it, the purpose of the game.
Beat it, love it.
Oh my god, like the fact that like when you play it and like you get the true ending and it's like the creators are like, we made a game. Did you have fun? It's just like, oh my god, my brain.
And then you get to the ending with that like fake teaser, and then it's just like, nah, bitch.
Oh, and then like one of my favorite things is like, because the main character, real quick, I just want to get this out of the way. The main character is supposed to be like the silent protagonist because you're supposed to inject yourself into it, and all the questions aren't for the main character; they're for you as the player. So it's like very meta in that sense. Second game took it a step further to where it's like each different character is no longer someone to inject yourself into, but more so a parallel to someone in the fan base, like the Butcher and Parney Mando, or oh god, the detective. I can remember his name, Manny Pardo or something.
Yeah, Manny Pardo.
Yeah, Manny Pardo. They're the bloodthirsty fans that relish the violence, even though that's not what the development team was trying to get across. The fans, they were ruthless and had no true vision on what they wanted to do. They just wanted more violence. They were the fans that just wanted more Hotline to play. The journalist was the player that wanted to know more about the world but will never get his answer. You know, it's just so fucking smart. And the ending, Adam, I'm not going to spoil it because
What's Jake then?
Jake was the shitty person that didn't that took the political message the wrong way and went too far with it.
Okay, so then what's the son?
The son. Wait. What character is the son? Oh, the mobster.
Yeah.
I see, for me, the way I see him, it's like the characters that were more into like the whole like trippy side of it, cuz I don't know, he's one of the ones where I kind of can't really find he's the one where I can't really find the parallel too well, but he's also the one that has the most surreal moments. Like, no other character in that game has as many surreal moments, so I think he was, especially since he's the one that goes on all the drug benders, so I think he was supposed to be the people seeking that out, and like, And
So
especially
the thrill seeker or like the power fantasy character.
yeah, especially like, and as I was saying, like the people that definitely enjoyed the surreal like mind fuck kind of shit. He's also the one that has the crazy boss fights. No one else in the game has in that game, if I recall, has like the boss fights. But you know, when you do the 4 floors, with the creatures and stuff, like that and the whole get a grip sequence is so much more mind bending than anything that happened in the first game. So I definitely think there's a parallel there. I didn't really, like I said, I want to dissect that one a little more one day. If anything, I could devote an entire podcast to that. Like I can go on and on about that game, not just in what it means as art and all that shit, but also like the gameplay and all that. It's, if you haven't played it, do yourself a favor and buy both. It is, I don't care what anyone says, they are a single game. It's a part 1 and a part 2. It's not Hotline Miami 1, Hotline Miami 2. It is part 1 and part 2. I don't fucking care what Denatun says. You have to play both. It is fucking perfect. And the ending is so fucking brilliant. Oh my god, Adam, go buy it.
Okay, Bishop, please put that gun away from me and stop pointing it at me.
Yes, my finger gun through the internet. Okay, so well, did you have a final thing before we sign off?
No, I was just gonna say thank you for having me on, Adam. I apologize very dearly for stealing all of the spotlight along with Bishop today. And I hope to see you guys soon.
Wait, hold on. What? No, you didn't steal a spotlight.
No, you
I mean,
you were a
you were-
great
you were
guest,
pretty
Shane,
quiet.
and I will say this right now. I will love to have you back on. It was a lot of fun.
I was quiet because I was just. I mean, y'all were going in. You were having a good time.
That's part of it, you know. If you've seen when they go into Dragon Ball Super, I tend to just lean back and sip my Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So yeah, have a great night, everyone. Thanks for watching. You know, share with your grandmother or your niece. Not your friends, because they'll just fucking hate you for it. But yeah, share it with someone. Like, subscribe, bell, tweet, Twitter, fan, share. Fucking, I don't know what else because I'm disillusional and spiraling.
Would you just?